Work is underway to transform WITS' Planetarium into a full dome interactive digital system. The project aims to create a visualization laboratory while embracing the data-driven era that we currently live in. Now, once completed, the planetarium will be turned into a high-tech research facility that will help students solve some of society's most pressing challenges. To find out more about this upgrade, we're joined from here in Johannesburg by the planetarium's director, Professor Roger Dean. Prof, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. This has to be good news. I mean, in the statement that your unit released, you say that you're wanting to move in step with this technological revolution. Some might say it's better too late than too soon or too late, or however you want to put it. You're playing catch up now, aren't you?
Well, we're very, very excited for this project. I just want to have a quick correction there. I'm not the planetarium director. That will be hiding in time. I've just been a part of this big group that has been crafting this vision to indeed launch into the digital future. Yes, the planetarium is over 60 years old, and we now live well into this digital age. But we're really excited to move this historic facility into the 21st century.
Now, talk to us about the changes that are coming. I mean, I will admit, I've been living in Johannesburg since 2007. I know the dome. I drive past it all the time. My planetarium experience is from the one in Cape Town, where I grew up. And that childhood moment is quite magic when you go to the planetarium for the first time. But it was a rather rustic experience compared to all the technical gadgets and gizmos that we have these days. I mean, I think I still remember the sound of the projector, you know, being fired up. How will this change the experience of those visiting the planetarium? Before we talk about what this is going to do for the scientists and academics who will use the space.
Yes, it seems that everyone remembers that first moment they walked into a planetarium, whether they were 6 years old or, you know, it was very, very recently, and children in particular. So I, like you, share that fond memory. And along this journey, we've seen that a great deal. Going towards the future, these were designed back in the 1930s to the 1940s. And they essentially have one task. The planetarium recreates the about 8,000 brightest stars in the sky. These are pinpoints of light on this that are shown on the inner dome. And you have some remarkable technology of that time that achieves that. What we're doing now is upgrading that with digital projectors that are now able to show any range of different content. So instead of being constrained to the cosmos above, we're able to dive into the oceans. We're able to explore rainforests. We're able to dive into multi-dimensional data sets. The breadth and the depth of engagement with the city of Johannesburg will increase dramatically through this digital upgrade.
What is this going to mean? I mean, that sounds amazing, let me just say. What is this, however, going to mean for your scientists, your academics and your students that will obviously use this space as well? I see in your statement you quote a second-year astrophysics student, Sita Singh, all of 19 years old, who says she loves the idea of a multidisciplinary facility, but she's worried about the upkeep.
Yes, well, the potential here is not just about the engagement that the planetarium has had for over 60 years, but also about using its strategic location on a world-class university to perform and explore these very complex data sets that our scientific instruments churn out these days. So one example would be the square kilometer array, producing very, very complex data sets that we're able to then immerse ourselves in. And as researchers, that has a whole number of aspects that are incredibly enticing, but then also on the level of postgraduate training, where we now live in a data era, and we have to become a lot more intuitive about dealing with complex data sets that are simply too large to hold on a simple laptop. So these are the kinds of opportunities that have been crafted within the vision of upgrading the planetarium to a multidisciplinary digital dome, and one that is, focused on research, community outreach, and building up basic postgraduate training and at the undergraduate level and school learner level as well.
This morning, while having my coffee, I was watching the launch of the Artemis rocket, taking mankind back to the moon for the first time in decades. And there's a lot of talk about why it's taken that long. And it's obviously got to do with funding, political will, presidents change, getting different countries to work together. The thing is, this is not cheap, and it takes these kinds of things as not cheap, and it takes a lot of planning. But you also kind of need to convince people that this is a worthwhile investment. It hasn't got to do with the power crisis. It hasn't got to do with keeping bread on the table. But it is still important. Talk to me very quickly as we close about how difficult it was to get the funding for this. Well, this wouldn't have been cheap. And why the message then was to those potential investors that this was important.
Well, just a historical anecdote is that Artemis's twin was Apollo. And over 50 years ago, you obviously know that we had the first lunar landings, which incidentally were televised at one of 3 places in Gauteng, one of which was the WITS Planetarium.
Wow.
But in terms of, in terms of the future, I mean, it's just been wonderful to partner with Anglo-American on this endeavor. Anglo-American and WITS have been part of the Johannesburg landscape and have walked a journey together over the last 100 years. And in the last year, in crafting this vision together, we're obviously in higher education and industry, each have their own strategic objectives and stakeholders. But in that sense, this partnership has been highly enriching in coming from different perspectives to address some key topics around education at multiple levels, basic and at the tertiary. But yes, it's been a wonderful path to walk with them, and we're really just excited about this important next chapter in the planetarium's legacy, where its breadth and depth of engagement just increases so much beyond just the cosmos. I say that in quotes.
Now, Roger, very quickly, when will this be open to the public to experience the digital dome? How long do we have to wait?
We'll be having the groundbreaking ceremony on Monday, the 21st of November. Then we're expanding the building. Construction ensues for at least another year, and we will certainly be open to the public, to researchers, to school learners, and our students in early 2024.